The RTX 3080 Ti has been making rounds, with the 3070 Ti coming out very soon.
More Switch Pro rumors abound, but Nintendo themselves have said that they're not going to be talking about it during their E3 Direct.
Also, did you know that NZXT cases have been catching on fire? Well, that was somewhat of a bit ago. However, it looks like that issue's been fixed now, but more on that on the Tech Summit Podcast, episode 52. I am Francisco.
I'm Chris.
And if you're watching on YouTube, then do make sure to check out the social media that is right down here.
And of course, if you are listening in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to check all of the respective descriptions.
And that's right. And now, before we continue, of course, we do have to give a very special thank you to all of our patrons.
Get that list out.
Yes, I got to get that list out. Okay, for everybody. So at this time, so far, because I do remember every tier 3 right now. So for you, tier 3 people, that is going to be Saad Al-Wazell, Joe Moss, and Omar. Thank you so much for supporting us to that extent, and it definitely goes a very long way. So thank you so much for all of your support. So those are going to be for the Tech Summit Conquerors, but for the Tech Summit Mountaineers, the tier 2 patrons, we've got Armani, Rix Rocks, Dizzy YTT, Maury, C, and Luke. Thank you so much for all of your support. Very much appreciated as well. Every bit of support that goes into the Tech Summit podcast and the channel in general does help us out quite a bit. So thank you so much for being there.
And of course, as our way of giving back, there is, of course, your chance for a giveaway prize. Remind us what that is.
Yes, and that is going to be for the Rode NT USB Mini. I actually got a defective product earlier for it. However, I am in the process of getting that exchanged. So, the winner will be getting a brand new working Rode NT USB Mini. No worries on that. We will be announcing the winner of that giveaway also at the end of June. So stay tuned for that.
And of course, if you are subscribed to the Patreon, you do get bonus uncensored episodes of the podcast where we say bad words and talk about other things that we really like. And sometimes things we don't like, I guess.
Yes. And it's not always tech related, but it's so fun.
Of course. Now, before we do anything else,
yes.
I just want to do a brief follow-up from the last episode. For this past week, I was informed by a mutual friend of ours, just to follow up a little bit on the smart toilet discussion.
Oh, okay.
That there is also an app, apparently, called Poop Map. Poop Map, which
Tell me more.
helps you log all the places that you pooed. So, you press the one button available, drop the poop. This is from the Apple Store description. By pressing the only real button available, drop the poop, you mark the location and are able to conquest your home, office, friends' houses, expand everywhere and show your friends all the places you've pooped. So, clearly, poop technology is
advancing.
it's getting somewhere here. So, I just want to give a shout out to Jesse for informing us about Poop Map, just as a follow-up to the smart toilet, I suppose. So
Thank you, Jesse.
You could use the smart toilet to, I guess, examine the poo at home while at the same time logging your poo in, the airport. Just always know all the information you need to know about your poo, I suppose. And it's a 4.7 out of 5 rating, by the way, on the Apple Store.
Wow. It's got some pretty high ratings, even.
Yeah, so a lot of poop going on over there.
I need to measure it.
But one place that there has not been a whole lot of poop happening is, in fact, in the Stock Scoop. Bars.
Tell us more, because I... Good one. Good one. I got to give it to you. So tell us more about that.
So the only real major news that has been going on this past week is easily, in my opinion, going to be AMC.
AMC. Okay.
AMC, which, last week we spoke a bit about it and how, it was going up. It was looking really good. It reached its all-time high, or last 5 years high of $35.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more or less when I sold the majority of my stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out I should not have. Because AMC decided to double itself this past, I believe, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It doubled, reaching a peak this past week of around $68.
$68.
$68
That is insane.
I might have actually seen it touch 70 at one point, but depending on how quickly it is, Robinhood's not going to measure it or keep it measured in the week chart. So
I remember on Thursday when we were taking a look at it, you just had your phone on the table, just like very focused on it, and I was wondering, I wonder what's going on. And then I see AMC like skyrocketing to the 60s. I'm like, when did this happen?
It's a very sudden and jarring thing. I have no explanation as to why it happened.
Yeah.
You know,
Elon Musk did not talk about AMC, by the way.
absolutely not. Of course, a big, at least a big semi-practical reason for this is because, we are slowly reopening after these unforeseen circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And, movie theaters are a big part of it. And it's also a big major thing that people are really excited to go back to, especially now that the summer blockbuster season is coming around.
Yeah.
Cruella recently came out.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to see like a little ad for it earlier.
This is not sponsored by Cruella.
No.
But, Cruella came out. And of course, you could pay $30 to watch it at home on Disney Plus Premier Access, which good deal if it's a full family. Terrible deal if you are a solo person.
Yeah.
So
because then you'd be paying for basically 2 movie tickets.
Exactly.
The convenience of watching it at home.
2 movie tickets in New York prices.
In New York prices, yes.
Of course, it's cheaper elsewhere.
Yeah, I tend to forget about that. Like,
Yeah.
like it's really just like in places like New York. I imagine LA as well.
New York actually has the most expensive movie ticket in the country.
Gotcha.
It's always New York. It's like. Anyway, but yeah,
I know, it's just sad news all around.
Yeah, Cruella coming out now. F9, as they're choosing to call it, in a couple of weeks. Fast and Furious 9.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel is going to be coming out with Black Widow in July. So the big blockbusters are popping up, and they're going to start releasing on a more a lot of the movies that have been held back for the last year or so are going to actually start coming out. And that could possibly be playing a role in why AMC is really going up.
Okay.
But otherwise, I don't know. If you ask, obviously, the people who are really invested in this stuff, it's, the hedgies are keeping it down from its actual price and they're starting to lose. And, of course, these past couple of weeks have been a massive loss for a lot of hedge funds who are shorting AMC and GameStop. I think they have lost, from this year alone so far, they have lost up to $6 billion, give or take.
Wow. I can't even fathom having
that is across the year, not just this past couple weeks. No, it's including January and that whole kerfuffle.
So over the past 6 months, then basically,
give or take, yeah.
Okay, wow.
And of course, I do want to focus on AMC here instead of GameStop because GameStop's changes they mirror AMC in terms of how the chart looks, but it did not really do as much movement overall. I believe it peaked around 283. 283. Both stocks have in fact dropped pretty dramatically. At least not dramatically, but over the last day. AMC is now currently at 43.74.
43.74.
43.74.
Okay, so it did drop, but still, it's way higher than what it was just 2 weeks ago.
It is easily the highest it has been in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, Robinhood does not show you anything further back than 5 years. I know someone out there's going to be stop using Robinhood. But I don't actually know what AMC's all-time peak was throughout its entire company history.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
All right. See a little bit. So
sweet. I mean, I would consider that a pretty important update to the stock scale.
It is a pretty important update to the stock scale. Yes. Now, unfortunately, there is another scoop that we have to pick up. A pooper scooper. now we're combining here. We're going to do a bit of a pooper scooper and bring us back to.
It's going to be a punny day. I can just feel it.
And of course, if someone poops on the carpet, you gotta shame them.
Indeed. Which leads us into the NVIDIA shame corner, which actually isn't really so much of a shame corner. So we do shame NVIDIA quite a bit, I think, on this podcast, with good reason. However, I think that, credit where credit is due. The RTX 3080 Ti has been a graphics card that reviewers, I can pretty much only say reviewers because I have not heard of a single person that has gotten their hands on it. That doesn't mean that people haven't been able to get their hands on it at all, because I mean, if you go on eBay, people definitely got their hands on it. And I am going to be touching on that on just a bit, but overall, just in terms of performance, the RTX 3080 Ti is pretty much just a somewhat of a shaved down RTX 3090. And when it comes to its pricing, we're looking at $1,200, which is a very big departure in pricing from the $700 RTX 3080, which I actually find to be kind of odd considering that the RTX 2080 and 2080 Ti, yes, it was like a $400 difference between the two. And that was already pretty substantial between those two. It's like $400 difference in pricing for like a 30% boost in performance in a lot of tasks, probably in a lot of games.
I do feel like that price sort of like lessens the impact or like the hype around it.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be a bridge between the 80 and the 90, but it feels very much like it's closing in on the 90's price to where it's like, why not just spend the extra $300 and get a 90?
Yeah, I mean, like,
so obviously in the fantasy world where all of these things are in stock, but
yeah, though, like, I mean, I would say that the RTX 3080 Ti is like people who wanted a 3090 but don't need a 3090 per se, because a 3090 is definitely a much better performer than the RTX 3080 when it comes to games and things like that. I mean, I've been loving a steady 60 FPS with everything maxed out on my 3090 for Final Fantasy 15. Granted, it's not a 4K, but it is a 2.5K.
right.
But still, like I've very much been enjoying that a lot.
Of course, at the same time, another benefit to the 90 is that it's the only card in the current lineup that, if I recall correctly, that can in fact like stack on top of each other to actually like boost performance. Correct?
Yes, that's called SLI.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it does have SLI/NVLink support.
So it's like if you're a workstation that requires a lot of computing power, a lot of GPU power, then you can actually do that with the 3090. You can't do that with the 3080.
Yeah, you certainly can do that with a 3080, and I don't believe that you can do that with a 3080 Ti either. My understanding is that when it comes to like gaming GPUs, they're pretty much just like trying to kill support across the board because it's never really been steady. And then it also kind of like depends on NVIDIA working with like game developers to make sure that that games scale properly using SLI. So that's why for gaming, SLI is not really recommended.
Right.
Almost never. However, like when it comes to specs between the RTX 3080 Ti and 3090, they have a lot of similarity. So over here, I'm looking at this article from Forbes to get a much better idea on that, and I am pretty much just going to be reading off of that. So this article was written by Anthony Leather. Thank you. And it's titled NVIDIA RTX 3080 Ti versus RTX 3080, RTX 3090, and RX 6900 XT. Which should you buy? And I am just going to be skipping down to where he organized a graph over here created using Data Wrapper. So when it comes to the boost frequency, the 3080 Ti does have a lower boost frequency, like a little bit lower than the 3080. But the 3090 has like a 0.03 boost in terms of its like boost frequency in gigahertz. So CUDA cores here, we're talking a pretty substantial difference between the 3080 and 3080 Ti. So we're talking about 8,704 CUDA cores for the 3080, excuse me. And then for the 3080 Ti, we're talking 10,240. So that is a pretty substantial boost, while the 3090 only has about 256 more CUDA cores than the 3080 Ti does.
Okay.
So like it's not that much more, but it is still there. Like the differences are still there. When it comes to tensor cores, which is what is in charge of ray tracing, you know, like how well does it perform in ray tracing? Does it have enough tensor cores? And RT cores also goes into that as well. So for the RTX 3080, that's going to be 272. For the 3080 Ti, 320, and then the 3090, 328. So you know,
that is not a big difference.
Yeah,
that's very good.
Yeah, like it's a very small margin between the two. When it comes to RT cores, we're talking about 68 on the 3080, 80 on the 3080 Ti, and on the 3090, we're talking about 82. So it's just two more RT cores.
I just really wish the 3080 Ti was better priced. I understand it makes sense to price it like that, I guess, just because there is such a slim difference between it and the 90. But like, I feel like if someone's buying the 90, they're buying it for a different reason besides gaming.
Yeah. And in this case, like I would argue that the 3080 Ti is for people who wanted a 3090 for gaming, but don't need the extra features that come with a 3090.
Exactly.
So when it comes to ROP, which I'm actually not entirely sure what it stands for, so I'm going to gloss over that. But when it comes to memory bus, we're talking about 320-bit for the RTX 3080. We're talking 384-bit for the RTX 3080 Ti, and exactly the same for the 3090. Then when it comes to VRAM, there's when a substantial difference comes about. So the 3080 Ti only has 2 more gigs of VRAM over the regular 3080. So 10 gigs on the 3080 Ti has 12, but the 3090 has 24. So it's like double the amount of VRAM. So clearly it is more so meant for like workstation stuff, things that do require more video memory. And usually games are not really going to benefit from that much video memory. So when it comes to the pricing, again, $700 at MSRP, of course, for the RTX.
MSRP.
Yeah, for the RTX 3080. 3080 Ti, $1,200, and 3090, $1,500. However, if anybody here was curious about the pricing, I'm going to go over to eBay real quick because I do. I was checking this out last night, and oh man,
The only retailer where you can get these NVIDIA cards. And why is that?
virtually because of the scalpers. Indeed. So, a lot of these are going to be Founders Edition because the card is brand new. So
Of course.
custom cards are still going to take a little bit to release, but here we have one generous seller that's selling his NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 Ti Founders Edition.
In hand.
In hand, yes. $2,500. You can buy it right now, and it's only $25 in shipping.
I like the other offer there better.
Yeah, right. So you can choose to pay an extra $300, and in exchange, you get free shipping.
And for returns.
Yes. Oh, though you can also make an offer to this guy that's selling his for $2,800. Then this guy's selling his for $3,000 actually, and even shows the receipt right on screen. It says new, sealed, in hand, ship ASAP, $3,000 or best offer. You know, like it's insane. They're all about $2,200 and up when it comes to like the scalping prices. Like it's pretty much double or more for these.
At this point, you just assume that, like, if you get a card with a certain MSRP, just double that MSRP, and that's what it actually costs at this point.
Dude, in the RTX 3060, I think it's like $1,000 right now, actually.
Sometimes a little more than double.
Yeah, like sometimes even triple.
Triple right now, though? I feel like triple is more like for the PS5 prices.
I mean, a 3060, I think, costs somewhere around like $330-ish. So like at $1,000, it is pretty much triple.
Okay, that's
yeah.
right. That's completely fair.
Okay, so you have one guy that's selling his used for $850.
Used?
Yes. That's used. Some guy is selling his open box for $1,176. Buy it now, and you have to pay $28 in shipping. $945. Buy it now, brand new, RTX 3060. Again, RTX 3060 will never be worth this much money, ever.
No.
Ever. Not
For
a TI.
For a 3060? No.
No, not a TI, not a 3070, hell, not even a 3080. So, like, this is insane. The prices are completely out of control. So, honestly, even though at the time I still had to feed the scalpers and buy graphics card from the scalpers, I'm glad that I did it when I did it, rather than waiting until later on when things don't get worse.
I'm actually surprised that the pricing for some of these cards seems to only be going higher rather than lower. Like,
oh yeah,
I figured as time went on and the video became more transparent about their stock issues or like how to fix them or even new systems to deal with scalpers or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
I thought maybe over time the prices would start to decrease, not increase. As a matter of fact, actually, what are the prices for 3090?
prices for 3090. Yeah,
That's what you got. So
yeah. Okay, it's an RTX 3090 currently on eBay.
now remind me, how much did you give it to the scalper?
It was $1,850.
Okay.
But it was for like a slightly more expensive card than the Founders Edition, like by default.
It was Zotac, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was by Zotac. So there's it was about like $1,850, and then with New York City taxes, it ended up getting up to $2,000.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, $3,050
Oh my god.
for an EVGA card. Oh my goodness, $3,200. I mean, at least it's brand new.
Great price.
Yeah. At least it's brand new, right?
Used.
And then there's a bid that's currently at $2,325. One guy is doing a buy it now for $3,300. Oh, the cheapest one we've seen so far that's still brand new is $2,800 from EVGA. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that it's not double the price.
I'll be honest. I talked a whole lot of poop map about you. Whole lot of poop map about you when it came to giving to the scalpers, and I still feel like people should not.
You were justified, I think.
It's really rough, and I know a lot of people really want to upgrade their PCs because like they want to play games or whatever. But it's like I said before, unless you absolutely need it for work right now, and it's like dire, like say for example, if you're rocking like a GT 560 or something like that, and you really need a new card so you can actually get your work done. That is the only time I would justify, and even then, I'm starting to like change my mind on that just because seeing these prices right now.
It's insane.
It's only getting worse. How many of these cars do you think are people that actually got them last year and have been sitting on them waiting for the prices to go up? Like, surely these cannot just be all new purchases.
No. Highly unlikely. My guess is that a lot of them have been holding out, and since the prices of these have been going up, you know, like kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm pretty sure that they have been hanging on to these for quite some time. Though a lot of these people do buy in bulk. Like they manage to get their hands on these cards in bulk. So like they usually don't tend to just run out of sales. Like they probably end up making up their money probably even halfway.
So
like,
you
inventory.
think like they'll buy wholesale and then sell maybe half of them at the time and then hold on to the other half to see what happens with the value maybe?
Probably.
Sounds about right. That it's. I'm not gonna like disparage someone for hustling like this, because there's clearly a demand if they're buying cards at this price.
Yeah.
Can you actually like show the sold options, like the ones like the auctions that are over, or like?
Oh sure.
Like let's see what the actual sales are.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, I can click on auction, but all of these are currently up for auction.
Like I think on the left side you can see like close. Like there's a filter for that.
Let's see. I wonder where that is. Okay, so there's like pricing here, buying format, buy now. I don't think it's those.
Keep going.
Is it here or more filters?
Maybe more filters.
Oh, sold items.
I put all listings sold items.
All listings sold items. Okay.
Okay, but even these auctions though, hold on. These auctions you're still getting like we can see a decent like 2,800, 26, 28.
Yeah. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna go to
Scroll up. Just go to all listings there. No, right there. Back.
Where?
All listings.
Oh, here. Okay.
We're troubleshooting on the podcast.
Yeah, we are.
So yeah, you can see the auctions on the buy it now. So
Oh my goodness.
31.
Sold on June 5th, 2021.
So today.
Yes, it sold today.
It sold today.
Another one that sold for $3,000 today. A lot of these sold today. 3,225. This bid, it looks like someone won it for 2,560. 3,049 over here. And there is, okay, this is extremely suspicious here. So like I see a listing here from Malaysia. $951 for a brand new RTX 3090 OC.
Click it. Like something tells me that it's like box only. Scroll down. Let's find the description.
Let's see. Yeah, remember, bots only. We're doing this to combat the bots. This was bought in for a customer who has had trouble securing funds for the build we had planned, so it's now on hold, but I can't afford to have this card sat on a shelf either, so it's up for grabs. This is brand new only, opened for testing as it's not unheard for these cards to be dead on arrival, and that was approaching the 14-day DOA return policy, but it's working as it should and will come with the original receipt bought at the beginning of the month in case the buyer needs to RMA at any point. The serial number is yet to be registered also.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, honestly.
Yeah. This is so weird.
I mean,
so like he just had.
I mean, to be fair, it looks like it's sold specifically for Malaysian currency. It's just the conversion rate makes it look cheaper for us. It's possible.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah. It could have item location.
Like,
I mean, the buyer could have been in a different country too. So that's also worth keeping into consideration. Like, how much did it cost for them?
I'm saying it says C.
Yeah.
And the shipping is Canada Post Track Back. Don't tell me that's Canadian dollars.
That stands for Canadian dollars, yes.
Wouldn't it be CAD, not just C?
Yes. It does usually say CAD. But like Canadian Post Tracked Packet, that does bring up suspicions of like, did this actually? I mean, maybe it was shipped to Canada. Maybe that's why.
But
and the Malaysian currency probably stands for the C.
If it's shipped to Canada though, and it's sold for that little in terms of Canadian dollars, it's actually like insanity.
Yeah, like this person got an insane deal.
If it's legit.
Yeah, once in a lifetime, dude.
I don't know.
And then this other guy from Mexico sold his for $1,737. That's actually not bad.
These are like, I feel like these are people who are just like, they have it. Let's just get a little bit of money, get out of my house.
Yeah, I mean, maybe to them, it like that difference in money is a lot more for them than it is like for us. So that's what I'm thinking. But there's somebody else that sold theirs today as well for $1,530. Like that's virtually no profit from Mexico.
And then you have the shipping.
Yeah.
And then like after you add in like eBay fees, it's like you just.
Are there like flash sales or something going on?
Even I don't.
But like it also seems like a lot of these cheaper. Yeah, like a lot of these cheaper prices are coming from foreign countries. Malaysia, Mexico, and things like that. Yeah, like those are the only places where these cards are being sold at MSRP, slightly over or less. Like, sounds like a great deal, but I feel like there's something wrong there.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
I feel like one of these listings is going to be boxed. Like it's just going to be a box. One of them has to be.
Probably. And with eBay's new payment processing system, I think it's a lot easier to scam.
Yeah, that's right. They don't really rely on PayPal that much anymore.
Would you like me to tell you more about it?
A little bit.
Okay. So, long story short, before I get into the long, I erased everything from my eBay listings. I am currently not selling anything on eBay, not anymore, because the new form of payment that they have now is managed payments. And I do plan on making like a rant video on my second channel for this actually at some point. But essentially how it works is that when a buyer buys something from you, they expect you to ship it relatively soon, especially if like on your page you do have like a turnaround time of let's say 2 days. Like you'll ship it within 2 days or so. In my case, I made it 4 days before because sometimes like things get in the way. I can't make it to the post office. Sometimes the post office just closes on me. Sometimes they're like, oh no, we don't accept that box. So I had to go back and change it out. You know, like a lot of stuff can get in the way. However, with PayPal, you used to be able to get paid immediately after the buyers sent out their money.
Yeah.
And the funds would be available on your PayPal account. But with this new change, that's not the case anymore. When they pay, eBay's like, hey, your buyer paid, ship the item. And while your buyer is expecting you to ship it soon, eBay will probably take an entire week to send the funds back to your bank account. And from there, they take 13% out.
13%.
13% before they put it back into your bank account. And again, it took me an entire week for me to get my money from a sale that I made last week. I was beyond livid. And if this is how every transaction is going to go, because I had to ship that item before I even got my money, I was very concerned. I wanted to ask the buyer if he would be willing to wait. But the thing is that no buyer wants to have to wait that long.
No.
Because like from their perspective, they already paid for it. Why aren't you shipping it?
In some cases, they already paid for the shipping.
Yeah. I mean, they always do. Like if you charge for shipping, they pay for it together.
Yeah.
So this is pretty ridiculous. It makes it so that, who knows, my funds could probably get lost along the way. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get the money, but the item is still on its way. I have to pay for shipping out of my own pocket now to be able to cover that. And I really do not like that idea whatsoever. When it was with PayPal, things were way easier because I could just download the money right away.
Why exactly did PayPal and eBay kind of split up that way anyway?
So their partnership had ended. But it looks like eBay was already planning on ditching them to begin with because they rolled out this feature back in 2018, but they started making it mandatory when the partnership ended.
I see.
Yeah. So anyway,
so
this happened.
eBay, please fix your poop.
Yeah, fix it.
This is basically the poop episode, yes.
Yes, and indeed. But that's pretty much everything regarding graphics cards and my eBay rant on that end.
That's a whole lot of poop.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of poop. So yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and have some fun with the next bit.
So while graphics cards are kind of a fabled, mythical little device of sorts at this point with the really bad supply, there's apparently something else that's becoming very mythical and sought after and fabled. So tell us about it.
That is going to be the Nintendo Switch Pro, which I'm sure many of you have already heard too many rumors and possible confirmations of. And it is currently being speculated that it is going to launch at $400 because there have been some listings online, such as Walmart, I think Target as well, possibly even Amazon, not entirely sure, for this upcoming Nintendo Switch console to cost $400, which I called it. I called it.
Sure. I mean, I have very low expectations of it, actually. Well, not necessarily that's not going to be a thing, but like, I don't know. So for those who may have missed it, Nintendo has already announced that they're going to be doing a Nintendo Direct for the E3 little space.
Yeah.
I believe it is June 12th they're going to be doing it. It's a Tuesday.
Let's see. So for Nintendo...
It is a Tuesday. No, 15th. Excuse me, 15th.
Yeah, 15th.
June 15th.
Would be the Tuesday.
Yes, June 15th. And they already said ahead of time that it's going to be focused almost exclusively on software, most of which will be coming out this year, some maybe next year. I feel like that's where they like talk about like Splatoon 2, probably Breath of the Wild 2. But like they don't mention anything about talking about hardware. They say it's exclusively software. It's like they're trying to like get everyone to like lower their expectations a bit. Nintendo always does that. Nintendo always like they say up front, we're gonna be focusing on software. We're going to be focusing on third party today. We're going to be focusing on this particular game. And then people still get mad when they like overhype themselves and they don't get what they want.
Yeah. And in this case, they've already been very specific about what's coming. So let's be civil about that. I know that we all of us want to see a Nintendo Switch Pro, but if it's not meant to be announced within the next few days or the next week or two, and it's not meant to be announced yet. I would rather the console be ready when it's ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think constantly harassing Nintendo about this is going to make it happen any faster. I have seen the possible suggestion that maybe they announce a Switch Pro before E3 even starts, so that way like other publishers can announce their various games and titles that are going to be coming to the Switch Pro, but like what studios would really be working on a Switch Pro exclusive game?
I can kind of see. Honestly, like I can kind of see Square Enix doing something along the lines of that.
But Switch Pro exclusive, as in like it will not run on a regular Switch. The same way how like they had new Nintendo 3DS exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you really see Square Enix or any third-party studio really doing something like that?
Well, something more specific actually that I would see them doing is probably porting Final Fantasy 15 over, because it was something that they just were not able to do
They were
on the
trying.
current Switch. Yeah, they tried, but they said that they just came across too many, I think, conflicts with the engine and the Switch itself.
So that's why they went with Pocket Edition.
Yeah, that's why they went with the stupid Pocket Edition. But yeah, like that's what I can see them doing on Square Enix's end. Beyond that, I mean, it is kind of hard to tell unless Atlas is like, yeah, we can finally bring full Persona, you know?
I mean, they could, they just haven't.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the Switch can run 5 just fine. It runs Strikers just fine. Yeah.
You know, I know it's going to sound silly to make this kind of comparison, but the PS Vita was able to run a fully functional version of Persona 4, which was a PS2 title.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking like several years in advance with hardware. And Persona 5 was originally a PS3 game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be graphically intensive whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just very stylized. So the Switch should be able to run it just fine. However, there have been performance issues with things like SMT3 Nocturne. And it doesn't have to do with the hardware, it has to do with the optimization.
I was going to say, like, aren't there problems with that port all across the board?
Yep, on PC, PS4, everywhere.
Is there really anywhere else? Like, did it come out on Xbox?
I mean, on Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Nocturne come out on Xbox?
No. And that's why I'm currently on PlayStation side, because I get the games that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's totally fair.
Yeah. However, Game Pass is still pretty cool, I hear.
Yeah, I guess.
3 free months.
You get 3 free months with your AMD card or CPU purchase, if you can find one.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yes, which I mean, you can still find 3000 series. I think it's just the
And
5000 series.
I think 3000 is eligible, so.
Yeah. So with that said,
It's, I don't know.
yeah.
Switch Pro rumors. It feels like people are trying to sort of manifest a Switch Pro. They're like Mario here in our background, just constantly running up the stairs,
Endlessly.
hoping that at the end, they're going to reach the end of the stairs and there will be a Switch Pro waiting for them. And I don't know. I'm not saying the Switch Pro doesn't exist. I do think it's going to happen. I think it's inevitable, but like...
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it has pretty much been confirmed. It's just that it hasn't been revealed.
And
by
I'm
Nintendo.
just really not looking forward to everyone like getting mad when it's not revealed in that Nintendo E3 Direct. They announced the Direct. They say software, and then the Switch Pro was trending on Twitter afterwards. Anyway,
As it should, because the Nintendo Switch Pro. I mean, come on, I really want to see.
okay,
one.
but why not just like have Breath of the Wild 2 trending or something like that? Because I feel like, I mean, we're gonna talk about this on the bonus episode, like what we expect from like E3 and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I guess a little snippet here for you guys who are not yet a part of our Patreon. Sign up for the Patreon.
Wink, wink.
I feel like Breath of the Wild 2 is a pretty safe bet for what that's going to be there.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that Metroid Prime 4 can make it?
No.
Okay, so that's like a hard no. We might also just get like more details on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe
even an
Arceus.
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 The Arceus.
Arceus. Arceus.
I know what you're trying to do there.
Yeah, I know you know.
And that's why I'm going to end the conversation there. The Pokemon spin-off title. That's what it is.
Yes, the Pokemon spin-off title.
Pokemon spin-off
That
title.
shall not be named
Yes.
because we can't agree on the name.
Possibly we see some of that stuff.
I think
it's
we
a little,
will.
It's a little weird because like Pokemon has started to have its own kind of directs at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like remember you had the big Nintendo Direct that everyone got overly hyped for and got mad about when
Yeah.
they didn't get what they wanted. And then like the following week, Pokemon had its own.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember back in 2019 when they were like, we would like to unveil Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu.
That was not 2019. No way.
That was 2019.
No way. You
No,
sure it
no,
wasn't
no,
like
no, no,
18?
no, no. 18. Yeah. 18. Sorry. 2019 was Sword and Shield. You're
Okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
My sense of time has been completely altered by this past year.
That's perfectly understandable. But yeah, so 2018, what? No, 2018.
Pick one.
Okay, 2018 is when Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee came out, and everyone was like, where the hell is our mainline Pokemon? And they said, well, we're going to give you guys this game for now to hold you guys over until Gen 8 comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, we're going to have brand new animations, all of this is going to take a lot to model because it's our first time working on an HD system and things like that. And they made it seem like it was just going to be this big game. Little did we know, even in docked mode, texture popping, the same 3DS models, half the roster.
Less than half the roster.
Yeah. And then they have the audacity to be like, yeah, with DLC, you guys can get the another chunk of it. And it's like, go yourselves. I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, I know. I messed up there. But yeah, like that. I don't know, man. People have been pretty upset with the Pokemon Company / Game Freak for quite some time. And I think that this is their time to hopefully shine, to hopefully show something off. I don't think that they're going to have anything that's going to be specific to the Switch Pro because it just wouldn't really make a lot of sense.
I can totally believe that the unnamed spin-off title will run better on a Switch Pro, given how it's looking to be like an open world type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminder, Game Freak is working on that. They're not the ones making the Gen 4 remakes.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah, and the Gen 4 remakes look so different.
It's literally it's a polarizing art style.
I'm fine with that.
I don't mind it either, but I know a lot of people that don't like it, and I understand.
I can understand why, because we are moving in a different direction, and it's like, okay, our Gen 3 remakes were still chibi-esque characters moving around and stuff, but they had more of a body. You could actually see them moving their arms and stuff. It wasn't just one pixelated circle going like this. So I can understand how going from that to this might seem odd, but the graphics do look really good.
It was fine. I of course, everyone loves their sprite work.
Yeah.
Everybody loves their sprite work until they realize how much effort goes into making them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a brief sidetrack on that for the record. But it seems like for a lot of people, the Gen 4 remakes would have been perfect if it had kind of the Square Enix HD sprite kind of work, your Octopaths and your triangle strategy. So
yeah, that would be absolutely beautiful, but I don't think that they would have headed in that direction. I really don't think so.
Right. So this does not apply to Pokemon because Pokemon's going to sell millions no matter what.
Yeah. But
the brief sidetrack, a lot of people tend to demand high quality sprite work and say that sprites are so much better than 3D models. King of Fighters in particular had that thing where King of Fighters 13, I believe it was, used super high quality frame by frame animation with pixel sprites, super detailed pixel sprites too. Took loads of work, hundreds of hours to do even a single character, I think, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the game sold really badly.
Wow.
The game sold really badly. Nobody cared.
Mm-hmm.
And then when 14 gets announced and it's using 3D models, which are going to be, faster and easier, relatively speaking, to work with, everyone suddenly starts crying, where are the pixel sprites? You didn't buy them.
Yeah.
You didn't buy the game when they had them. So
when it was there, you weren't there to support
not,
the developers or anything.
It does not make financial sense for SNK to keep working on pixels. Because the thing is, King of Fighters is not a big franchise at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There's a cult following, and to my understanding, it is huge in South America.
Okay.
Specifically South America. It is huge out there. Like King of Fighters for Brazil is what Street Fighter is for us over here. Like the premier fighting game.
Interesting.
But nevertheless, there's still not loads of sales coming in, and so like you can't ask for them to work on super high-end pixel sprite animations
If you're not going to pay for them.
if you're not going to pay for them. 'Cause it takes a lot of man hours to like work on that stuff.
Yeah. And it still does for 3D animation, granted. But when it comes to 3D animation, it is a different workflow, because when it comes to 3D, you make something once, you rig it once,
And then you're animating it from there.
yeah, and then you just move the joints, you play around with your camera angles, or however it is that you want to go about that. But when it comes to sprite, which is going to be 2D or pixel art, you're drawing frame by frame every time. And even though some sprite work might not be that intensive, like maybe like let's say the Pokemon just well, not the Pokemon,
Trainer.
yeah, like the trainer just walking like this, like moving his circle for a hand around. Still, like, to animate every sprite of each Pokemon, which at the time were over 400 Pokemon, like that took work. And oftentimes these Pokemon also end up getting redesigned for every generation. Well, like they just get like a different default pose, I should say. So yeah, like we can't really demand too much on that end, and like the move to 3D is inevitable.
It's really nice when people do decide to keep up with like the hand drawn or the pixel art stuff. It's really great. Like I know Blaze Blue is staying with pixel art, probably for good, just because Arc System Works already has Guilty Gear for 3D things. King of Fighters did really have beautiful sprite artwork. At the end of its life. For hand drawn, Skullgirls is still a thing, and all that. But these things take a lot of time, and it's like you can't just demand it and then not like be able to afford it, or at least to be able to understand just how long it's going to take to do these things.
Yeah.
They take a long, long time, and I do not envy people who have to do like hand drawn sprite work.
It's a lot of sitting down, crouching over, being super uncomfortable with your stylus for hours and hours on end. And it requires a lot of focus to, like keep that going.
Exactly. Yeah, no. By the time you're done with all that stuff, your PC's probably going to start exploding. Or maybe it'll start exploding for some other reasons.
Ah, yes, which will allow us to transition into the next topic, and that is going to be that NZXT has had some exploding PC cases.
You like that one?
I do. I dig it. So, essentially, I actually got this piece of news from one of the viewers of my live stream last night, and when he told me that, I was like, "Really? No way! Tell me more." And then, like, he filled me in on some of the details, and it's essentially that they were using metal and plastic for the build. And what ended up happening is that when you would screw in the motherboard onto like the metal bits that were still making contact with the plastic, using metal screws as well, like something around that connection just caused it to like overheat, and the plastic parts would catch on fire, and then it would just like spread all over the case. This is the NZXT H1 case, by the way, that does come with a built-in water cooler, and they had to recall it in a ton of different places, and they had to redesign it as well.
Seems like the water is not really helping to put out the fire.
Nope, but that was a pretty cool pun you made there.
That was weird.
Huh.
That was not on purpose.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because it'll hurt my feelings. So, yeah, like a lot of issues in that regard. And it just kind of brings back a lot of memories regarding that time that my graphics card caught on fire. Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, I think you told me. Well, did you? Wait, hold on. No, I'm thinking about when your tower exploded. with the glass display.
Oh no, yes, that was a lot more recent.
Well,
but
by all means, tell the audience about your your burning card.
Sure thing. So when I was a wee lad at 19 years old, I was working at a Best Buy at around this time, and I was saving up some money so that I can upgrade my system. At the time, it was like my first build. I had built a PC with a Core i7 4790K, so fourth generation CPU. I had 8 gigs of RAM. I used, I think, like a Red Dragon power supply or something like that. And I think we've like talked about Red Dragon products in the past. I do have like quite a few of their stuff.
Bit.
Yeah, and I had a GTX 750 Ti. Like basically, I guess the equivalent, not in terms of performance, but like back then, I guess, of what is a 1650 Super or like a 1660 Ti or Super or whatever, like around there. And essentially, what ended up happening is that when I got some of my new parts in, I had ordered a GTX 970. I ordered a new power supply, which was, I think, a little bit bigger and was modular. And also, I had ordered 32 gigs of RAM and a water cooler too. So, kind of ironic. So I'm hooking everything up, and I finished putting everything together. What happens is that as soon as I turn on my computer, my graphics card just starts to light up in red. Like there's like this little like emergency light that kind of lets you know like when the graphics card is in trouble. So I got that light, then shortly after it was just
So like sparks or like
it was sparks and then a lot of smoke. My computer shut off right away. I like to say it caught on fire. It isn't an exaggeration, but that did happen. Luckily, I was able to contact Amazon and like I got that stuff replaced. But ever since then, I have I've experienced some PC trauma.
a little. I mean, it's part of your line of work, honestly.
It is, but it would have been nicer without it.
Even so, it would have been even worse if your tower was in fact catching on fire. So you're saying that this issue has been somewhat resolved of some ways, or?
Oh, like the issue with 970, or?
No, I'm talking about like the exploding towers.
Oh, the H1. Oh yeah. So like the H1 got recalled and they redesigned it so that this time it won't be catching on fire.
When was this? Like this is pretty recent, yeah?
Yes, very recent. Don't know exactly how recent, but it did happen pretty recently.
Okay. I mean, those are some pretty dangerous like defects to like really be happening, if a tower is catching on fire and you're like it's unattended because you left it on sleep mode or you left it while it was say rendering rendering your video or your 3D thing, and it's like and they just burst into flames and it's just
you lose everything, man,
digitally and physically.
Yeah, indeed.
You just lost your house. You lost,
And if you live in an apartment complex, who knows? Maybe your neighbors also lost theirs because the fire just kept spreading.
You lost all your vacation photos.
No, my Polaroids. We had to take a Polaroid, by the way.
Watch out.
As I was saying, we have to take a Polaroid when we have any trips.
You insist on it.
Yes.
You want that retro feel to it.
It's not the retro feel. I just want the physical memories.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Polaroids, man. That's a piece of tech. Polaroids are.
Go ahead.
It's a very interesting like piece of tech how it like manages to stay relevant even to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's the nostalgia wave that's always kind of prevalent for that stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like are there digital Polaroids at this point? I feel like there are, right?
Well, what do you mean by
like digital
Polaroids?
Cameras under the Polaroid brand?
Not that I know of.
Like it's not an actual Polaroid, but like,
Polaroid. I'm gonna look this up. I'm going to have to. Polaroid digital camera. Let's see. Shop Polaroid instant camera. So if I click on this,
that's just Polaroid, isn't it?
yeah, most likely. And Everything I'm seeing is just printed from what I can observe.
It was still loading, so you're calling it too early.
I think I already just knew. I felt it in my soul.
One step?
Oh, one more?
Well, no, it says one step.
Oh, one step plus?
Bluetooth enabled one-step camera syncs with our phone to give you the... Oops, we don't want 10%.
No, we do not want 10% off. We
To
want
give you the creative freedom.
full price.
So, okay, I'm guessing it's not digital more than it's like works with your phone.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Like you could probably save the pictures to your phone as well, which is cool. You know, cool. But
It's close enough to digital.
Yeah, close. Definitely close enough to digital. But yeah, everything else appears to be printed. So actually, we do not have any actual digital Polaroids, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering if maybe they did in the same way how another piece of tech, Ford, and the way that Ford has made their electric Mustang, which is like a sort of crossover, almost SUV type vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it's Mustang in name only. Same way how like a digital Polaroid would be Polaroid in name only. You know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Essentially.
a digital Polaroid does kind of sound a little wrong.
It does. Like it is stepping away from what a Polaroid is.
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then Ford was stepping away from what a Mustang is. You know, I'm not saying that a Mustang can't be electric. Of course, I encourage it to be electric, but like,
Yeah.
you know, for it to be an SUV or like a hatchback or whatever it was, it starts to get a little bit rough. But you know, it's just like, you know, what do you really accomplish by having something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, it is certainly worth wondering and asking, but
Of course.
I don't think Polaroid's ever going to do that.
I mean, hopefully these things don't explode.
yeah,
If they
hopefully
do.
not. But you know what I do want to explode?
What?
This podcast.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. So with that said, if you're watching on YouTube, then do make sure to check out the social media right over here, and also make sure to give us a like if you liked this video podcast, and comment any of your thoughts down below. Love to hear what you think.
of course, if you are listening in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, all of that information will be in the respective descriptions. Of
Nah.
course, we
Yep.
also want to thank our patrons one more time.
Sure thing. So let's go ahead and go.
Oh, no, just thank the Patreon.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Remember, if you are part of the Patreon, tier 2s and 3s get to participate in the giveaway.
Of course, and you also get those bonus uncensored episodes where, I guess in this case, for this week, we're going to talk about our E3 expectations.
Indeed. And if you would like to jump in, well, you're always welcome. Links to that down below. But with that said, this has been Francisco.
And Chris.
And we will be seeing you all next time, if possibly with some news.
Possibly.
Enjoy.
Good night. Travel well.